Hello, moviegoers! It's time for another episode of CritiCarter, the show where I turn you into a cinephile. I just got back from the midnight screening of The Rum Diary, directed and written by Bruce Robinson, and starring Johnny Depp, Aaron Eckhart, Richard Jenkins, Amber Heard, and Giovanni Ribisi. In this film, the intrepid young journalist Paul Kemp is sent to the picturesque island of Puerto Rico to write for the San Juan Star. On this seemingly meaningless assignment, he uncovers a terrifying land deal made at the hands of one of the island's rich movers and shakers. When I first heard that The Rum Diary had finally gone into production, I was over the moon about it. It's been 1998, so 13 years. It's been 13 years since we saw Johnny Depp, specifically, playing Hunter S. Thompson, and playing Hunter S. Thompson to the degree of perfection that he does. First of all, if you haven't seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you need to, right now. Stop this video, go watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and come back to me. I'll wait. You back? Good. The thing to remember about Rum Diary is that this film takes place 11 years before Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Now, yes, they are technically novels, but anybody knows that Hunter S. Thompson did go down to these places and get ridiculously drunk and take every drug known to mankind. But because, the legal people would have an issue with that, he goes by some different names. He was Paul Kemp in The Rum Diary, and he's Raoul Duke in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And out of the two people who've already played Hunter S. Thompson, the aforementioned Johnny Depp, and Bill Murray in Where the Buffalo Roam, bet you didn't know that, Johnny Depp was the clear choice to play him again. He hasn't aged in the same way that Bill Murray has, mostly because Bill Murray's film was back in the 1980s, but he is just, as I've said, pitch perfect with his portrayal of Hunter S. Thompson. And especially with the fact that this film takes place before he gets into the drugs. It's all drinking. It's all beer and rum. Obviously, The Rum Diary. It's all alcohol in this film up until something in the third act, which I won't say. It's a wonderful thing to see that version of himself from the other film seep back into this one. And what I really liked about The Rum Diary was that, unlike Fear and Loathing, it's a lot more story-driven. Fear and Loathing, as you now know because you saw it, you did not watch this video without seeing Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas first, right? It's just Johnny Depp running around in the desert, being on a bunch of drugs, being crazy. There's not a lot of A to B to C to D, etc. But you've got clear motive and clear plot points going on in this film, which ultimately make the film come out very well. I think Bruce Robinson especially was a great choice to direct it, because he directed the British cult classic With Nail and I, which again was a film about a man who was an outrageous drunk. Although, I would not personally recommend trying to keep up with the alcohol intake of either Mr. Withnail or Mr. Kemp. In this film, they drink, and they drink, and they drink, and they drink, and then they drink some more. But if I said Johnny Depp was the only strong performance in this film, I would be doing it a great disservice. You've got Aaron Eckhart, who has once again proven the ease with which he can switch back and forth between being the nice guy and being horrible beyond belief, which we saw to a more extreme extent in The Dark Knight. And then you've got Giovanni Ribisi, who is almost unrecognizable in this film. The great thing about his character is that he is what Paul Kemp, Hunter S. Thompson, whatever you'd like to call him, he is what Thompson will eventually become. And you see just he hangs like a dark shadow over the entire proceedings. It's a wonderful thing, because he's not, Thompson hasn't quite suffered the misgivings of society yet that force him all the way over the edge. But you see that in this film. It's acted, it's directed, and written very well. So if you want a prequel to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas about the descent into true madness and baldness and poor dress sense of Hunter S. Thompson, you've got a great film. However, there's a problem. From trailers to end credits, the film's a good 125 minutes long, and you could easily knock off 30 minutes from that if you just take out the senseless bit involving Amber Heard's character. She plays this girlfriend to Aaron Eckhart, and Johnny Depp's character spends the whole movie trying to get with her in spite of the, Aaron Eckhart being the rich magnate who can have anything that he wants. And it just seems like it's kind of shoehorned into the film. It doesn't really have a place anywhere. And there's also a great line at the end not at the end, of course, but near the end of the film. It's something like, don't quote me on this exactly, but it's something like, we're going to nail the bastards to the wall with a voice of rage and ink. You know, just something very profound, you know, that talks about the intensity of journalism the way that it's meant to be. You know, calling people out for their wrongdoings. That would have been a great point to just roll credits, you know. The film ended with a nice little, you know, in memory of Hunter S. Thompson, which is fine, you know, don't get me wrong. But have a nice strong ending, memoriam card, roll credits. Don't let the film go on for another 20 minutes. Nobody wants to see that. Okay?
You a little drunk, Carter?
I'm getting to it. Don't question me. Now, because of the poor use of the Amber Heard subplot and the fact that the film goes on for just a little bit too long, despite the great performances from Mr. Depp and Mr. Eckhart and Mr. Ribisi, I'm gonna have to give this film 3.5 horribly hungover Johnny Depps. Yeah. That's a terrifying picture. Now, you say you want to spend a night with that man, girls, but if that's what he looks like in the morning, I'd take a pass if I were you. Looks like we're coming up on that time. It's near the end of the video. Next week, there's 2 movies coming out, neither of which I'm really apt to see. A very Harold and Kumar Christmas 3D.
Yes!
I think is the... Shut up. I think that's the full title. And Tower Heist. So, on the one hand, you've got a stoner comedy, which is the 3rd in a series, which I haven't seen the first 2.
Dude, you should.
And on top of that, it just abuses the medium of 3D, something terrible, if the trailers are any indication. And then on the other hand, you've got Tower Heist, which is like Ocean's 11, but without the soul. And I can't pick between those 2 horrible things. So if you want to see me complain about one or the other for, you know, a good 5-6 minutes next week, let me know in the comments. Oh, also, I want to thank everybody for the birthday wishes. I now feel properly old. Also, I want to thank everybody who helped me in my LA travels last weekend. It was a wonderful time. I promised the movie I said that I saw, Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, I will have the review up on CritiCarter.com as soon as humanly possible. And I also reached 1,000 subscribers while I was out there, so thank you to each and every one of you, especially Mr. Zero Sense Films. I'm hoping you're a guy. I just called you Mr. If not, I'm very, very sorry about that. Again, 1,000, so thank you to each and every one of you out there subscribing, watching, tell your friends. And just for the sake of everybody at home, this was a prop. You know, this is water with food coloring in it.
I don't give it away.
Come on. I know that there are impressionable youth out there watching this video, so if you're under the age of 21, please, I do not recommend that you drink alcohol or use any sort of recreational drugs or smoke cigarettes or any of the old rigmarole that I know you're used to hearing by now.
Rigmarole!
Thank you, DJ. And if you're over the age of 21 and you're watching this, please drink in moderation. Again, this was not real. Whatever the movie that I reviewed last week, the review will be up over here. Whatever I review next week will be over there. Please keep in mind when you are leaving your comments about what you want me to see that I will have to watch Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle and Harold and Kumar, what is it, Escape from Guantanamo Bay? Is that the second
I think so.
Yeah. I'll have to watch those 2 before I go see the 3rd one because I am a completionist like that. Please, look after my suffering. I have so much of it already.
So in other words, choose Harold and Kumar.
If you must. Like, subscribe. Thumbs up is like, isn't it? Yeah, so thumbs up, subscribe, comments, doobly-doo, Facebook, Twitter. You know the drill by now. Fade to black!